What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Steelberg, and we are back. I'm sorry about the long wait. Classes started yesterday, and I've been moving back up to school. I haven't had a lot of time to focus on football. I know I've missed a lot of preseason reviews, so I will give one more video right before the end of the season to kind of give my thoughts going in. I will also be having a video giving my beginning of the season way too early record predictions like I do every year. So that will be coming soon. Things have been kind of crazy lately. This video is going to be going over the Steelers 53-man roster because rosters and roster cuts were due as of 4 p.m. today, Tuesday the 26th. And there are some surprises. Some big names cut that I didn't expect to see cut. Some big names kept who I didn't expect to see kept. So we're going to go through that all, offense and defense, and I'll tell you my thoughts on them right after this. So starting with the offense, and the first surprise is that we kept 4 quarterbacks. Logan Woodside was cut, as no surprise since Will Howard will be coming back, but they kept 4 on. They kept Will Howard, Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Skylar Thompson. I expected maybe Will Howard to go on IR to start the year, or them to just cut Rudolph. I thought Rudolph played by far the worst out of the quarterbacks that played. Even thought Woodside outplayed him in some capacity. Granted, it was with third and fourth stringers, but Rudolph I thought looked bad. Even with the starting O-line and the starters out there, he made a couple bad throws, threw a couple interceptions. Thompson, I thought, looked by far the sharpest out there. I thought he deserved the QB2 job, and I thought we'd keep Will Howard as the third. So I was surprised to see 4 on, and I think that contributed to some of the cuts we saw down the line. Running backs, we had Kenneth, Gainwell, Kaleb Johnson, and Jaylen Moore in there. No real big surprises. Nothing that I was particularly shocked to see at the running backs. For wide receivers, Calvin Austin, DK Metcalf, Scotty Miller, Ben Skowronek, and Roman Wilson were kept. And that's another big shocker. Robert Woods was cut today. He was a veteran presence on that wide receiver team. But they obviously saw something between Roman Wilson and Scotty Miller that felt they didn't need him in that third string spot. Another point of emphasis is that there's a lot of receivers that are potentially on this little trade block. Jacoby Myers was in that list. Rodgers reached out to Romeo Doubs to see if he would be potentially interested. Even guys such as KJ Hamler and Deontay Johnson, who are cut by their respective teams, could be on the market for the Steelers to bring in if they need somebody else. Tight ends, we kept 3, Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington. No shocks there. One shock is that we also kept Connor Heyward. I don't love the move. I think there's other people we could have kept above him in that position. But we'll see. If they use the fullback position, I suppose he's a good enough option. And then wrapping up the offensive line, no big surprises. The only thing I will say is that Dylan Cook was cut. He was a backup offensive lineman. Calvin Anderson, Spencer Anderson, Troy Fautanu, Zach Frazier, Broderick Jones, Ryan McCollum, Mason McCormick, Andrus, Peat, and Isaac Seumalo are our offensive linemen off the bat there. So offense, fairly similar to what I had expected. Quarterbacks, I'm a little surprised they took 4. On to the defensive side of the ball, and this is where I thought that there was one person in particular who the Steelers should not have cut, and that would be Beanie Bishop. He was cut from the defensive back room, and yeah, we have a fairly good squad here. We have Brendan Eccles, Deshaun Elliott, Dante Kent, Miles Killebrew, Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Darius Sway, and Juan Thornhill. Sure, but with how much we've struggled in the secondary, having someone who knows the system and who brought a good energy to the locker room last year could have been more impactful. And I think cutting someone like Connor Heyward, like I mentioned earlier, or Mason Rudolph in place of him could have probably helped our team out. Other than that, no huge surprises on defense. Linebackers, TJ Watt, I'm surprised he made the team. I mean, I was not. I was worried about him. Patrick Queen, Jack Sawyer, Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Malik Harrison, and Carson Bruner. And then wrapping up the defensive line, Keeanu Benton, Yahya Black, Daniel Ekuale. oh God, I'm messing that one up. Derrick Harmon, Cameron Heyward, Logan Lee, Isaiah Loudermilk, and Easy Otumue. SSE Otumue. You learn something new every day. And then moving on to special teams, obviously no shocker here. Chris Boswell will be our kicker. Christian Kuntz looks like he's going to be okay with that ribbon for the collarbone injury. Sternum injury. And Corliss Waitman won the punter's job over Cameron Johnston, which I thought was a shock. But hey, apparently they were both doing well throughout all of training camp. They were hitting bombs. So looks like the best man won. And now for the second part of this video, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of some preseason stars. Just because I missed some of the games, I didn't really do any previews like I said I was going to, or I should say post games like I said I was going to. Things just got busy, but there were a couple people that jumped out to me, particularly Yahya Black. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. He was wrecking the defensive line during that last game, especially against Carolina. Thought he played very, very well. Derrick Harmon, up until he got hurt, I thought he was a game wrecker. He had a sack against the Buccaneers at home. I thought he played very, very well. And then I want to shout out some of the wide receivers. Scotty Miller and Roman Wilson. They both had very, very good games. Scotty Miller had some experience in the NFL. He's played with the Buccaneers. He caught that long pass from Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game against the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. But Roman Wilson really has not had any NFL experience. He got hurt during training camp last year. So I'm really excited to see what he can do this year. Hopefully he can have more than like 2 snaps in a game and maybe actually play in one this year. As for offensive line, Broderick Jones struggled a little bit during the early stages of training camp and preseason. Looked very, very good towards the end of it. He held up against his own. And as for running back, same thing. Kaleb Johnson looked a little slow at first. Was having trouble picking a lane and running through it. Toward the end of the preseason, he looked really good. He was shaking off defenders. He was making runs through the pocket. As for quarterbacks, like I said, Skylar Thompson looked really good. He looked really sharp. He was going through reads. His balls had a lot of spin on them. A lot of snap on them. As for linebackers, I thought Jack Sawyer looked really solid. I thought he was getting around his blocks really well. He was putting some good pressure, especially in the run game, as did Cole Holcomb. Holcomb back from his serious knee injury. I saw him make a couple of big run-stopping plays, and that's something that we really struggled with last year, especially against the Ravens in that playoff game. So if we can get somebody who is a really good run stopper, I would really like to see that in game. And now on to some of the negatives from preseason. Like I said, Mason Rudolph did not play well. He had a couple of interceptions throughout the game. I thought his throws lacked that snap on them, lacked that zip. He didn't look comfortable in the pocket at all, unlike Skylar Thompson. Also struggling. I thought Kenneth Gainwell had his ups and downs. I didn't think he had the greatest preseason. Calvin Austin III was pretty quiet during the preseason. I think he was coming off an injury, actually. I don't think he played very much. But didn't hear from him much during camp at all. Like I said, Broderick Jones struggled a little bit at the beginning of preseason, but he did better towards the end of it. On the defensive side of the ball, I thought our starting corners struggled. Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, struggling to make tackles during the start of that Carolina game. A lot of missed tackles behind the line of scrimmage. A lot of missed tackles at the point of the catch. Like second and third string wide receivers just getting around them. That's just something that cannot happen. That was giving me shades of like 2017 with Artie Burns and Mike Mitchell missing tackles. Like someone on Instagram said that it looked like the Panthers players were covered themselves in Vaseline before the game because they were so slippery. Like we got to get the tackling down, and those are veteran guys who've got to make those plays. So overall, not super great showing from everybody, but it is just preseason, and I know a lot of those guys are just getting up to speed. Maybe it was their first time playing in a live game in a while. Real test is going to be on September 7th against the Jets. Very much looking forward to that. Sorry I didn't give you a preseason preview, but again, I will be coming out with my predictions for the season, how they're going to round up. This is a bit of a hodgepodge video. I just wanted to get out in front of the camera with these rosters and what I thought about the preseason. It's a little hodgepodgey. I do apologize for that. If you're still with me, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, night, everybody. Goodbye again from the Steelberg.